box of the month hop. I thought I would do a proper unboxing this time. Because often I don't because I just get so excited about the product and get into it. But this time around, I actually remembered. And whilst I am probably the least likely person to tell you that the box is awesome, the box really is awesome. And I really appreciate getting an actual QR code in the shop link on here. Because often I'll like kind of not in this case, but I mean, often, like, I may forget, like, where websites are, so I think that's pretty cool. And the art is great. I mean, I think it's just kind of cool, like, to have Happy Mail and know what it is. But this is a sort of blind unboxing, so we will see what we can see. Oh, there is new literature. I don't know. Oh, this is very cool. I haven't seen this before. So you get a cute little thanks for being a subscriber card. But this is new. And this actually tells you about all the challenges and stuff. And has QR codes. So I'm very much a fan of the QR codes because it's super nice to just be able to go there and jump. But anyway, I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of like, you know, easy to use marketing it or not necessarily marketing, but easy to use stuff. So this is the box of the month, which is Western themed or cowgirl themed. I don't know. Take your pick. And comes with all the usual things. So let's pull those out and just take a look at what we get. And I thought this was pretty cool. Um, there's a lot of well, let's look at the stamps first. And you get your candy, of course. But there's a lot these boot stamps I thought were really neat because I think they'll be really fun to color and they're pretty intricate. You have some sort of Western sentiments too. It's funny when I talked to my friend from Texas, he was like, "Well, you really need boots and hats, and then that'll be should be good to go." This was actually the stamp set I was most excited about because of these silhouettes, which I think will look really cool with ink blending. And then you get a third, primarily sentiment set or exclusively sentiment set. Boots, lace, and a whole lot of grace. That's cute. And like, I am not the most Western person in the world, but I think we will embrace it this month. And as you can see, there's a new sort of more shadowed look with the front of the pads. And so anyway, first one I think is much more probably this one, probably with Cowgirl up because it's got the boots and the basket. I won't take these all apart so that this video isn't 3 million hours long, but as always, Jamie, who leads off these hops, does a fantabulous job with all of the more detailed unboxings. But this is super. Let me zoom in a little bit because my camera's a little not zoomed in. There we go. Better. But I love wood pattern paper, and this is great. And I don't know that I've ever seen a pink before, but this is really pretty. A very, I guess I'll say, oh, and there's even more planks. I like that that's a focal element. I really think, like with the boots, I think that's a really nice look. Anyway, especially if you use sort of that design that both Teresa and Jamie really like, where you have sort of the like the focal image and then a strip of pattern paper. I think this would look just great for that. And I like the paisley. I don't really think of paisley as a Western element, which I suppose that's sort of the cool part about all this is like, obviously this is, sort of Western themed. But I mean, like, if you're using sort of your basket of flowers and your paisley, like it could be anything you want. But let me get over to Desert Dreams, and I'm really excited. I haven't seen a piece of ephemera before in the ephemera packs that's like actual card front. But there's this one is really nice for if you're. Ooh, I like this pattern. I really I like when these sort of subtle patterns happen because I feel like they're so reusable. One very nice, some glitter, some cow print, and then eventually we start repeating. The first one here is you get two of each. Here you get four of each, if that matters to you. But I'm really interested in checking out what this large piece is here. So this is kind of neat. Whoa. Everything's jumping everywhere. But there are a couple different pieces like this, and this is basically like a whole card front, and that's I think an interesting approach because that's gonna really be nice for new card makers, I think. And then there's a secondary one that's mountains in here. And then we have a lot of the elements from the paper pad, a lot of animals and florals and all that. But yeah, I think this is pretty good. I really like this as a concept. That is just very cool. But anyway, let us jump into a project. I just wanted to talk to you for a second about the hop itself. Like all these hops, it's hashtag driven, so you can click on the hashtag in the video title, or you can see the full list of all the hop participants below in the description and just hop along. There is a giveaway, and once you've hopped through everybody, just click on the Rafflecopter link in anybody's video to enter. So let's make a fun project. This is one that is new to me, but I've seen around a couple of times. We're gonna make a little mini, sort of a gift card, essentially. Well, like somewhere between a tag and a card. You'll see as we get into it. So this is slightly smaller than a 3 by 3 square, and I so this is 2 and 7/8 by 2 and 7/8. What I want to do is grab one of these stamps and use it kind of like a watermark, essentially. So that's why I pulled out a block and I pulled out the Catherine Pooler Sandcastle ink, which is um I kind of like the hat. It's a very light brown, and this is cream, but I think I'm going to sort of watermark it kind of like this. And the reason I'm doing this on a block versus my Misty is when it comes to like watermarking stuff, I kind of like the sort of hand done sort of vibe that it gives. So I am just going to do it that way. And we'll just do that. And there you go. So as you can see, it's a little lighter here, but I think this will be nice because you can just still write your message over it. And if you wanted to do something more elaborate, obviously there's a bunch of sentiments in the set. So you could, if you wanted to like put howdy or yeehaw as like an actual sentiment, you could do that. But I think I'm going to leave it like this so you can write your message however you want. I'm doing this um, essentially as a mini card, but you can also use this as an element. I saw Catherine Bertram of Cards by Christy B do this as sort of an element on a larger card recently, so you can do it however you would like. Basically, what we're gonna do next is just score this at 1.5 inches on all sides, and if you did the math, that means that we have sort of a 3 by 3 square in the middle, and then a 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch scored area on all sides. So I will just do that. And then you can reinforce these score lines a little bit so they're easier to see because we're going to want to cut parts of this out. So I'm not burnishing these or anything, but I am just folding them to make my life easier. And you can decide what you want your inside or your outside to be. I like the idea of this scene kind of being on the inside and then the card being here essentially, because these will fold over and tuck together to make a nice presentation. But you can do it however you'd like. This is kind of one of those times when I feel like the scene papers work really well. And basically, we want to cut out these corners and we want to cut a little more than the score line so that when these flaps fold in like this, they're capable of folding flat. So, and then we can decide which direction um, we want to fold this. I think I am going to do it sort of opposite to kind of how I initially enforce these creases, but you can do it either way. And you have a couple of options with this. So you can use this essentially as a standalone mini card that comes in its own little envelope that's made out of this pattern paper. You could punch a hole in it and turn it into a tag. And the next thing I'm going to do is just round all the corners. Um, or you can mount it on a card as an element. That's how the original that I saw of this went together. but it really depends on what you like in terms of a look. Um, I like rounded corners, so that's why I'm doing this. I'll show you another option in a minute, which is rather than taking the approach I am taking, you can actually fold back these flaps that I'm working on here to make sort of more of a pinwheel kind of a thing, if that's more something you would prefer. There we go. And then we just have two more. And I think this is like one of my favorite sort of fun, quick projects. So let me just move the punchy bits away. So what's going to happen is that this card will go in here, and then we will just fold these over with, one side of them in the other piece, and then we will just tuck that together. And that's sort of one option. That gives you this side. So if you wanted to present this side, it gives you a nice scene there. Um, the other way, which I think I'm actually going to go with, is if we fold it the other way, because this cow print is pretty much non-directional. Um, when you open it, you get a little scene. 'Cause I sort of like this idea where you'd open this, but you'd still have a pretty neat scene. So the other way you can do this is rather than so when you fold this, you can fold this corner back to sort of and over to sort of make a pinwheel. But that is not what I'm doing today. But that's certainly an option if it's something that you like. So basically, this all folds together, and then we're good to go. So it's a fun little way to utilize pattern paper. I feel like this is really good for utilizing the scene pattern paper that sometimes I find more difficult to deal with. So I hope you like this. I think this is a really interesting release, and it's a theme I haven't seen before. So whatever you're crafting, feel free to post it in the Not Too Shabby fan group, because I'm sure we're all going to be interested to see what people make with this unique collection. Talk to you later.